Hi, good morning, good evening, as per your time zone. I'm Kumkum Sharma from Bridge, and I'm back again on my live open session episode 39. So we'll discuss a lot of things, we'll ask questions, and we'll stick to the agenda. And what is the agenda? Agenda is driven by you, not by me. So whatever you want to ask about your career growth, about any certification, upcoming trend, what could be the best for your growth, you can ask from Saket, and Saket will answer your questions. Thank you very much, Saket, for joining me again for this session. And yeah, without wasting any more time, let's jump into the session, discuss the questions. Let me just clarify the format once again. Format is very easy. We are live on YouTube, we are live on LinkedIn. If you want to ask your question, just drop message in the comment box. I'll include your question and Saket will answer your questions. Meanwhile, before we receive the questions from you guys, okay, let me start the session and let me understand first from Saket how he wants to start the session and if he has something interesting for us. So let's explore. So Saket, how
Okay,
you want to start
perfect.
the session today?
So great. So it's our like fourth Friday, as you all know. That's what we are doing. So 2 weeks in a month. Yeah. So first, second, and fourth. So usual conversations. Maybe the questions will be usual, but the answers might change because the time is changing, the environment is changing, and we are also learning every day. So maybe the same question which we discussed some weeks ago may have a different answers. This week, we uploaded one 20 minutes video talking about Scrum Master interview questions, few selective one. So if you are following us on YouTube, you may want to check that out. That's one new resource got added during this particular week. We also added one detailed video explaining our IESM process. So that's another thing in the industry-enabled Scrum Master program. We are getting many queries for creating something similar for project managers. But as of now, we are just taking time to find out the right content outline for it based on various research we are doing. So hopefully we should come up with some content detail related to industry-enabled Scrum Master program as well. So that's a update from YouTube space. We started our ICP CAT program. So this week we had our first program, and now we have more programs coming in on IC Agile coaching Agile transition space, which is a good certification program for Agile enterprise Agile coaches. Primarily, it revolves around helping you to come up with a transformation transition strategy for your agile ways of working, and it helps you in coming up with a template or a sample transformation plan for your own case study. So that program is in live now, and we also plan to have a weekend programs around that particular ICP CAT. So probably you want to check that out if you see that particular thing is good for you. Yeah. And in the safe space, we have been doing various scaled agile programs. So Safe Advanced Scrum Master is a good program if you are looking for the release train engineer job in some at some point in time. As you understand, even the question came in that Safe RT certification is expensive because the way Skilled Agile has branded it, it makes it expensive. Yeah, so that's what the value they are. The brand also has a value, and that's probably it is expensive. But doing Safe Advanced Scrum Master, if you go through the Scale Agile website, they also recommend for aspiring release train engineer, the Safe Advanced Scrum Master is a good certification program, which is not that expensive, which is under the range of other safe certifications only. And we do see a good traction. Our program for Safe Advanced Scrum Masters are pretty popular, and one can consider growing the skill toward release train engineer with the help of Safe Advanced Scrum Master as well. Yeah, so that's a thing. But yeah, release train engineer has its own value, and someone may wants to do that particular certification as well. So that's a like brief overview of things which are happening in our stage. The another interesting news is that we are trying to get away from the inertia of change. So as a Newton's first laws talks about, body want to remain in the state which which it is in. So if you are not in motion, you want to remain not in motion. If you are in motion, you want to remain in motion. So similarly, like when we were working from office, we wanted to keep working from office, and working from home was difficult. When we wanted to work from home, now when we're working from home, then working from office is becoming difficult. Now the same inertia is also visible in our training space. So when people used to do face-to-face classroom training, many of them had a huge inertia for online trainings. We were doing online training all the time though, and we keep believing in it. At the same time, when the online training and the offline training, face-to-face trainings are also probably a new thing now, the inertia is coming for starting the face-to-face training as well. So we are trying to break that inertia for the industry in a way, that by way of promoting more and more face-to-face training programs. So we have another face-to-face training program happening for Certified Scrum Master this week, or rather tomorrow, in Delhi, and we are trying to do more such programs in Bangalore as well. We already started doing face-to-face training program when it comes to corporate space, but yeah, we are trying to create a movement, not only for ourselves, but for the whole training industry as well. We remain committed to online education. I personally believe a lot in online education. At the same time, I do believe in choices. I do believe in that people do get some networking advantages whenever it is feasible. And many times, some trainings you want to do face-to-face, some training you are good to do online. I personally feel the PMP kind of training better to do online, but Scrum Master kind of programs are good to do face-to-face. But again, the situation dictates what all options we have. So as of now, the option from our side, we are creating in Delhi. So that's another new thing in a way. It's the second program in last 3 months. First program I was not promoting that much because we were also consciously looking at how it goes. But after the success of the first one, now it's happening the second one. So that's an alternative in case someone wish to go for an online education, and they have an option. If you want to go face to face, at least in few cities, we are trying to create options. So that's what we are doing right now here. Yeah, so that's all about. Now, if you have any queries, feel free to put it on the chat box. I see some things coming in here and there, so I will start picking up your queries. So the question is, I worked as a project manager, Scrum Master, and I'm interested in becoming a product owner / manager. Should I opt for leading scaled agile or safe POPM or a product management directly? Please guide. So usually, see, product management is a subject on its own, and it requires understanding of customer, ability to identify customer needs, like by way of doing interview, by way of doing data research, by way of doing your own primary research from the various surveys and all. You might be reading various other sources like competition and all, and then ability to convert those particular need into the product solution and feature. So identifying the problem, identifying the need, set lead or needs, unmet leads, unsaid leads, and then finally coming up to the requirement space. So that's a competency one has to build in order to get into a product management space. It's skills like business analysis, skill like facilitation, skills like customer empathy mapping, using some design thinking tools, and ultimately applying analytical skills to come up with a solutioning space. So that is something needed in order to get into product management. Many times, when individual work as a project manager, they also end up doing a lot of business analysis. So if you are doing a lot of customer facing things as a project manager, like I can talk about myself, when I was doing project management, I was doing significant amount of solutioning, as is study, to be studies presentation, demonstrations to the client, and handling a lot of their client and my team interactions. For my team, I used to be an important source of information giver, and for my clients also, I used to be an important source of clarifying and giving details of the product. If anything gets stuck anywhere and they want to know how this thing has to be done, I used to be there to support them. So if you are doing that all, then you already have a good amount of product management skills. Now you need to know how do you convert those skills or do those kind of things in the agile context. Now, in order to do that, you can learn with the help of agile product management related programs. So Scrum has a CSPO program and Scaled Agile has a Safe POPM program. Again, safe programs are primarily telling you how to do the product related stuff in the safe context. Similarly, the Scrum program tells you how to do a product management or a product ownership in a Scrum space. Both these programs may give you a 50% briefing about what is product management, but rest of the program, 50% of the program will be focused on the framework side, like explaining you artifact, explaining your role, and explaining you how do you interact with here and there. So if you want to do product management in a safe space, safe POPM is definitely good. If you want to do generic product management, then you may want to do a Scrum product CSPO certification as well. At the same time, the certification enough may not be sufficient to create product skills. If you have not done that thing as a project manager before, then you may want to focus on learning and doing business analysis related activities and sales and pre-sales related activities so that you get some first-hand experience related to product management. Okay, so that's about product management. If you have any follow-up thing, please feel free to put your query in the chat box. So we have another question. We have a tech architect working as a team member. He conveyed very little thing that happens within the team to the engineering manager, which creates conflict. How, as a Scrum Master, I can coach this? So it's something that there will be many situations which will be there in a team. Yeah, sometimes a stakeholder A has a particular behavior which is becoming a little difficult to work with, align with, and ensure collaboration. Yeah, so as a project leader, Scrum Master, project manager, I need to take care of engagement, be it a stakeholder engagement, team engagement, and collaboration on a regular basis. I need to create a collaborative work environment. Now, how can I do that? As you understand, each individual is different. You are different. I am different. And the person whom you are interacting with is also different. So the situation or a solution will be very unique in nature, and it will factor your style as well as that person's styles and the relationship and trust you have among yourself. Yeah. So there will be a unique solution which you only can find it out. Now, there are some high-level guidance which I can share, and you can research more about such kind of guidance. But ultimately, I believe solution has to be a very specific to the context. Now, what can work? Many times, talking to the person, having open conversation, sharing the ideas without biases works. And one of the critical skills we need to learn as a leader is giving and receiving feedback without creating problem around it. So if I think about how should I organize my conversation, where I communicate the concerns, the issues I have, and I also look for what are the possible way forward we both can find out so that both of us can have a best use of our time. The idea here is whenever there is a lack of collaboration, whenever there is something happening less than at an optimum level, all the parties are suffering. Ultimately, you are losing time, which you could have applied in a productive space, which could have led to your career growth as well as productivity improvement for the organization. So considering that openness in mind, considering that fundamental idea of having non-judgmental conversation in mind, we should have a conversation. So again, the roles will change, people will change and all. Each one is a different personality. Everyone looks at the information differently. Something you may believe is not happening in the right way, but other person may believe he or she is doing the best possible thing. So we need to keep our judgment aside, or rather than we need to be aware of our judgment. Maybe you can't keep them aside, but you should be clear that, okay, these are the things which I think. They may not be true, or these things may not be agreed by the other person, but these are the things which I think, and I probably need to talk to the person. So do a listening, have an empathetic approach, have an open communication, and come up with your feedbacks which are clear, solution oriented, rather than pointing out that you are not doing good. It's all solution oriented, and depending upon how the equation sees what kind of a trust you have between yourself, have a feedback conversation. Again, you need to find this answer. I just suggested few high level ideas. Okay, so I am a safe advanced Scrum Master. What would be the next best career option for certifications? So say if one is working in a safe space and you have a one safe certification, I believe the next career option will be a good 1.5 year of safe experience, because just having 1 or 2 SAFe certification is good enough, provided you augment it with lots of PI planning experience, retrospective experiences, and helping your agile release train and team members to improve. Yeah. So your certificate would be how you can do effective retrospective and how you have moved your team from a state where they were not happy to a state where they are productive and happy. If you achieve that certificate, you will achieve a good growth in your career. So that's a essential certificate. Now, so if I am working in a SAFe context and I have a basic SAFe understanding, I believe that's the first certificate you should focus on. Now, once you have that certificate, or along with that certificate, then you see what is my next work area. And in my next work area, which certification program or which certification might be asked. So probably you want to target a release train engineer next. Yeah. And then you may realize that doing a next job in a SAFe after doing a certificate of successful running release trains could be that I want to become a SAFe consultant or I want to become a SAFe program manager. And in that case, you decide the release train engineer or SAFe program consultant as a certification to take you further. But if you do these RTE or SPC certification without the certificate of moving your team from a state to B state, then you might be a part of a big crowd where they have a certification, but they are lacking the opportunity to work in a SAFe context. And that crowd may be maybe not giving you a good option because there are so many options available for the recruiter when they are looking without experience or without proven experience base. So if you are working in a SAFe context, then try to work there. If you are not working in a SAFe context, then whichever context you are working, you probably want to have the productivity improvement certificate and then find out maybe depending upon the area, maybe a project management or agile coaching, and those things you add there. Yeah. Okay, so there is an interesting certificate question. Do we to do an ACSPO, is CSPO is mandatory? I already have a PO experience, number of years, etc., etc. So see, each certification company has their own rules and their own processes. In case of Scrum Alliance, in order to finally qualifies as ACSPO, if I'm reading it right, and Kumkum, you can correct me if I'm doing it wrong, you need to have a CSPO. That's there. But you can do ACSPO training first. That's a possibility in case because of any schedule, you want to do an ACSPO because you have an experience, you can do that. But I think the awarding of the certificate will only happen once you finish your CSPO. That's the way Scrum Alliance works. Yeah. Okay. So I have been a Scrum Master for 3.5 years and also got PSM certified, but I am getting bored with it. Yeah, what next thing as per you will be explored like Agile Scrum. So if you are getting bored, it means you are not in the right job. Simple. Yeah. So probably you need to find out what can excite you. Yeah. And again, there is nothing good and bad. It's about a personality and the match. Yeah. So if you see that facilitation, problem solving, helping team and coaching them and mentoring them to do better and helping the transparency and hold the process thing is not much interesting you, then probably you want to see some other type of role profile. Yeah, that's something is a one possibility. The another boring could be that you feel it is very less challenging. I want to take more challenge. That could be a second kind of bored, that okay, handling and working with the one team, I hardly occupy myself 30%. Looks like I have a lot of energy and potential to explore. Then it could be a second kind of bored. So probably you need to find out what kind of boredness you have. Are you bored with the type of work you are doing and you don't enjoy that? Or you are bored because you feel that it's not at all challenging. I can do far, far better than this. Now, depending upon your reason of boredom, you need to find out a solution for it. So probably if you are boredom because the work is less, there is an option you may want to get into a space where you are handling multiple Scrum teams so that you can do more like a program management job rather than doing just a one Scrum Master job. That's the one possibility. Or the second possibility could be that I want to do something more than Scrum Master. Rather than just doing Scrum Master job, I might want to become a technical contributor, or I might want to assist the product owner in doing business analysis and other sales and product management stuff. And that's where the multi-skilling thing I want to do. If you're working in a service industry, probably you want to do more project management as well and get into that area. So looking at what is my current skill set, what are the augmentation I can make, and where my interests lie, at the same time where I can get an opportunity to develop skill. Because many times you have an interest, you can learn about that interest. Certifications and knowledge is easy. Yeah, you can definitely get it. You can read a book, you can watch a video, you can learn and get certified as well. But if you don't see an opportunity to develop the skill only get developed when you get an opportunity to apply the learning. So if you don't see the opportunity for developing skills, then just acquiring knowledge may not be sufficient for giving you the desired growth. Yeah. So you need to see that, okay, what is my current skill set? What are the thing I probably enjoy? And how can I acquire those future skill set which makes me ready for those possible things? And do I see an opportunity in my context based on my organization and my previous experience to apply those skill knowledge to develop a skill? And if you see all these three things matching, where you have an interest, you have you can acquire a knowledge, and you can apply the skill set by way of taking an opportunity to start with, then you are perfect. You can just take that path and help yourself in moving forward. Yeah. Okay, so probably looks like similar question. So I have an 8 year of experience and also have done CSM. I'm also using Scrum and Agile in my projects. How can I land into the Scrum Master or a project manager job? Okay, so what I'm understanding here is that right now you are working as a team member, yeah, in a Scrum context. So you might be working as a development team member, by doing development or by helping test or something like that. And you have an interest in getting into leadership jobs like Scrum Master or project manager. So that's what I'm reading from your question. And if I'm interpreting it wrong, probably you can correct, or my answer will be influenced with my interpretation. So with this interpretation, the question becomes, how do I move from a team member job to a leadership job? Yeah. So simple thing, I need to develop the skills which are needed for the leadership job. I need to acquire a knowledge which are needed for the leadership job, and then get ready for the opportunity. Now, what are the possible skills and how can I practice it? Say, if I'm a team member, I may start learning about how to do facilitation. I may start helping my team to run backlog refinement meetings. I may start helping my Scrum Master to run daily Scrums. I may volunteer to prepare and manage some of the matrix data. So I try to assist my Scrum Master, and I offer my services beyond my current roles and responsibility. I go a little extra in my roles and responsibility. I first learn about those areas and I show my interest in that area so that I acquire some skill building in that space. So you first acquire the knowledge, you understand what is burn down chart, what is daily Scrum, and etc. etc. And then you work with your stakeholder to take some opportunity to build a skill. Be it a Scrum Master job, be it a project manager job. You should start looking at Jira or other tools, not just as a user, but also as a leader. How can I facilitate the usage and understanding of these particular tools and working? Once you have that, then you can showcase your experience as a, say, assisting Scrum Master or something like other space. And that can help you in taking things forward. So that's something you can take, because now you have found a way to learn as well as apply your skill. And now you can even position yourself for a future Scrum Master role in a full-fledged manner. Maybe your current company gives you, or if not, maybe a future company gives you that role, because they would like to have person who has an experience as well as interest in the Scrum space. Yeah. So Bhuvan joining live call today. Great, Bhuvan. Good to see you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so discount and on, Braj, we will definitely work with you. So you can connect with Kumkum related to your ACSPO and all. ACSPO is for us little infrequent batch. So Poonam, Kumkum can help you to get the more details. And she can tell you about the dates and the price and the whole option. I think we can figure it out something. Yeah. The leading safe class is definitely starting soon. Yeah. So
I
work with
shared my
Kumkum.
email address so you can connect me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Great, 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 great. Okay, so the idea here is that product management interests you. You are working in a service-based industry. You have requested to transition to business analysis. Yeah, and what certification can help you in doing that particular transition? Perfect. So there are two popular business analysis certificate, and then there is a Scrum way of working in a business analysis space. So IIBA runs one business analysis certificate, CBAP. We are not doing it, so I have little less knowledge about it. That's the one option. But what we do more is a PMI's business analysis certificate, which is called PMI Pba. Both these business analysis certificate talks about the requirement elicitation techniques and talks about various way to prioritize, manage requirements. Yeah. So if you want to have an understanding of things like user personas, how to design an interview, how to design an interview question, how to conduct various group sessions, how to conduct various brainstorming sessions. So these kind of things will be taught in a business analysis. It's like various way of doing requirement elicitation and analysis. Yeah. So we run PMI Pba program for that. So it's a good information. You can pick up a book also, but that's a one certification program. On top of it, my recommendation would be that you might do a CSPO certification after doing all these things. The CSPO way of working will focus more on agile way of working on the requirement. The user stories are covered in PMI Pba. I'm not sure about CBAP, but the user stories are definitely covered in a PMI Pba, agile way of working with the requirement. But when you go for a CSPO kind of thing, they will focus more on product backlog, user stories, user personas, and brainstorming. Many of the things which you learn in a business analysis will be common, but they may not get into details. They will focus more on product backlog and prioritization of a product backlog. Where a PMI Pba kind of things, they will start from business case, defining the problem, and then finally finding various alternative and reaching to an alternative. So my recommendation, if I have to give PMI Pba from PMI, we run our program as well, and CSPO. So these two should help you to position yourself ready whenever the opportunity comes in your organization. Probably the client will be happy to see these two certification attached to give you a product management or product analysis kind of roles. Yeah. Okay, so we have a question. Do you help with resumes and interview preparation? So we run our industry-enabled Scrum Master program. As of now, we have a good assistance, primarily focusing on Scrum Master profile. Yeah, so that's a limited area. And what we have, like over a period of time, we have been doing is, we are running these programs month on month, and we also run a very live community where people are helping each other by way of conducting group interviews, by way of giving feedbacks to each other, and by way of even reviewing their CVs internally as a batchmate. So if you enroll to our industry-enabled Scrum Master program, you also become a part of a community which can help you in getting specific answers for your interview-related questions as well. This community usually meets every day. Yeah, so probably you don't have to join each and every meeting, but there is a quite vibrant communication which keeps happening on a daily basis, and it's up to you how many times you want to join in. On top of that, we have a lot of YouTube videos which takes care of some of the possible Scrum Master related queries and discussions. So that could be your source. So if you just want to explore, check our Scrum Master interview series videos. If you want to get into details, you may want to enroll to our industry-enabled Scrum Master program. You can find the details at our 𝐎𝐻𝐿 website, which is 𝐻𝐿bridge.com. Yeah. Okay, so this is all as of now. I just reset the room to remind you all that you are here to ask queries which are primarily around our area of work, like Agile, Scrum, project management, scaled Agile, Kanban, Agile coaching, facilitation, transformation, so around those areas. And we do run various education program around those areas. So if you have any specific query related to those certification and education program, we can assist. You can find your own answer, but we will share our version of the answer. And the objective of doing this activity is that so that you can do right choices, you can explore what is good for you, you can put your money and time in a right direction. So that's the whole objective. and for which we have initiated this thing, which we are running from last 1 year. And that's the whole thing. So if you have question, you just need to put the query in the chat box. So you can put it, if you are on a YouTube, you put it on YouTube. If you are on LinkedIn, you put it on the LinkedIn. YouTube is pretty good. I prefer YouTube conversation over LinkedIn. Yeah, that's it. Bhuvan, you asking question? Okay. Should one learn Scrum and Kanban separately before taking up something like SAFe and that use or applies there? So I would say, Bhuvan, it depends upon who are you. So if you are a part of SAFe implementation team, like I meet many organizations where they are going for SAFe thing, they just need to know how we need to work in SAFe. Yeah. So they may not care what are the possible ways of working in Kanban. They may not care what is Scrum guide is talking about Scrum. They basically focus on what I need to do. Yeah. So if you are a part of SAFe implementation, and I see that's the beauty of Scaled Agile Framework as a program, that they have created role-specific curriculum for the whole organization. Now, for many, it may look like so many certification program, but I see the organizations who are going for a transformation, it comes as a very ready-made, ready-to-use knowledge base so that they can quickly deploy a role-specific trainings and get started, and everybody's using common language and everybody understands what they are doing. Yeah. So if you are a part of SAFe transformation and your purpose of learning these things is how do I work tomorrow? If I'm a team member, if I'm a Scrum Master, probably I would say that you go through a SAFe curriculum, you join the release train, and the release train will take care of you. But if you are an explorer, you are a project manager, or you are a new guy and you want to get into agile space and all, then my recommendation would be that you learn these things separately. Learning Scrum and Kanban directly inside the SAFe may give you a distorted view because you may not get the whole essence of it. And since your implementation may not be happening inside the boundary of SAFe, then it will be always, from my side, it will be advisable that you learn these things separately rather than learning inside the Scaled Agile framework. Yeah. So that would be my answer, Bhuvan. My view, probably. Okay, but great question though. Yeah. Okay, so what is the difference between PSM and CSM? So I don't know. Yeah, probably I would say that it's like somebody's asking what is the difference between Pepsi and Coke. There could be some flavor difference, but I don't care about that much difference. I probably care about what my target employer is looking for. Yeah. So both are basically focusing on teaching you Scrum as per the Scrum framework. Yeah. So I see, and whatever is convenient, I take it. In general, if you are a test-oriented guy, you may want to just give an exam and get certified. Probably you do PSM. But if you are interaction-oriented person and you want to learn, yeah, you probably do CSM. Since we do CSM, I have more knowledge about CSM. I can little comment about other one. But my recommendation would be, see what is more coming in your target jobs. Do that. Yeah, more or less, both has a similar learning objective. Okay, so we have a multiple Scrum team functioning and we do Scrum of Scrum for overall status. Could you please advise if you would explore SAFe or continue to do the same? So again, any framework help us in working well with each other. It's the whole idea is how can we channelize our energy together so that we don't waste time. Yeah. In my mind, that's the goal of a framework. So if I am a multi-team, how should I organize myself so that we are not wasting time because of miscommunications and coordination errors? That's the purpose of framework in my mind. Yeah, I'm talking about me. Now, do you have a problem which needs to be addressed because you are finding difficult to channelize your things? If yes, then you need to find a solution for those problems. Yeah. Say one of the problem solution you have applied is a Scrum of Scrum meeting. There could be something that you may want to do a joint planning, may want to do it if planning or managing dependency is becoming an issue. There is a possibility you want to have a particular role who is doing just cross team integration and facilitation only. Yeah, maybe if you have a 6-7 teams, you may want to do that. So if you start adding these components, some part of the safe is getting implemented in your space. Now, knowing scaled agile framework is definitely a good idea. You probably see what it is, yeah, and what component or what part of facilitation might be useful in your context as well. Now, going for safe is usually an organization level call. So in a safe agile space, their view is that when you do safe, you think of taking organization to safe rather than focusing on one project in a safe. Yeah. So my recommendation, take a safe program, take some elements which relates to the problem area you see in your collaboration, and then work with them and take them forward. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So there is a question coming in that I am working in the context. There is a Kanban way of working and it's becoming confusing. How should I learn about it? On your website, I see 2 Kanban programs. I understand that's a little confusion. So we follow Lean Kanban. Now it is called Kanban University only. I think they dropped the name Lean. So we follow a Kanban University's program. There is a KMP1, KMP2. This is called Kanban System Design. And there is something else, there's another one, Kanban Improvement or something. KMP1 is the good starting point for you. So if you want to just learn about Kanban, probably you want to go with that. Yeah. We also have some Kanban videos. That could be another source to get started with. But yeah, doing KMP1 with our trainer Sanjay, who takes care of it, is a good idea. You may want to try that out. Yeah. And then drop us an email. We will assist you. If you have a specific query related to how to use what, we'll definitely assist you even before the training gets started. Yeah. Okay, so great. 20 minutes to go in case you have some questions, else we can close early as well. But I take a pause in case there is usually a delay between you typing and I seeing it. So let's see if you have any questions to talk about. In the meantime, I talk about another communication channel which I run, which is called a Clubhouse group. So if you are aware of an app called Clubhouse, you can find me there. Saket, you search, probably you will recognize me. You can follow. We do approximately 2 to 3 sessions per month on Scrum. Yeah, we were doing every week, but I'm thinking of a little bit changing and tweaking with the frequency. Let's see how it goes. And we do a similar frequency sessions for Kanban. Yeah, that's something we can focus on. So probably you wanna try it out. That Kanban, the Clubhouse way of communicating as well. The advantage of Clubhouse is that you can do a 2-way communication. You can speak as well. So that's a kind of non-video app. It's a phone-based app, which helps you to interact. Yeah. You can follow other groups also. It's like a kind of social media app which you can use. Okay, so another question coming in, that Scrum Master role before starting the sprint. So if you say that Scrum Guide, it will say that there is no role of a Scrum Master till the time sprint is not started. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So what do you see? So the idea here is what happens before you start the sprint is not very prescribed or very standardized. Yeah. So things keeps changing depending upon the context you operate. If you are in a product company, yeah, so before starting a Scrum, there might be some amount of, or before starting a sprint, there could be some amount of POCs which are done by 1 or 2 people, and things are done differently. If you are working in a project space, then before starting a sprint 1, there could be a project chartering and project kind of contracting and project kind of visioning might be happening before you start a first sprint. So it depends upon what is your contract and how you need to do things before you get started with the first sprint. But the idea is my role remains as a leader. So you have to lead the team. Now, many times in many organizations, you are also responsible of creating the team. You may be responsible for hiring, finding the people. In many organizations, the people and the teams are given to you. So it depends, yeah. But in whichever case, you need to have a clear understanding of who are the people who are going to work, who are the stakeholders who are going to work, who is going to be a product owner for it, what is the business case around it, and ensuring a good facilitation and interaction from the day one between various stakeholders. There is a possibility you may get involved first before the team even get identified, and you might be facilitating the activities like creating of a project charter if you are working in a project context. If you are working in a product context, you might facilitate in creating initial set of roadmaps and direction even before the teams comes up. There could be a work needed for setting up the environment and infrastructure. In some contexts, you are working on the same tool, infrastructure is ready, you don't have to do anything. But in other contexts, you might need to invest good amount of time to make infrastructure ready for your teams. So there is no standardized prescription, but you do what it takes to make your team productive and collaborative as soon as they start working. So you see what all the background activities and what your organization expect from you. So depending upon the context, organization will definitely tell you or have an expectation from you. You work on those expectations and get things done. Whatever I shared is a sample. Yeah, it's a kind of things I typically see people who are working as a Scrum Master end up doing before they get started with the first sprint. Yeah. Okay, so question, as we are talking about Kanban, what sort of agile metrics report can be showcases to the higher management so that they can trace if the team project is going well or not? As per the Scrum Agile, we have burn down chart, burn up chart, but in Kanban, we don't have such except community flow diagram, something like this. So the essential thing which I see in the Kanban team is needed is some amount of predictability when this work gets done. If I give you a task today, if I give you a work today, when do I expect it finishing? Yeah, that's the most important metrics I need so that I can understand when things will get done. So with the help of lead time calculation and seeing the distribution of a lead time historically, which helps us in setting up SLAs, seems to be the one of the important metrics which is needed in order to create right expectation or in order to even forecast SLAs. So that's one thing. Cumulative flow diagram is a great tool primarily to find out the diagnosis of what is blocking, when it is blocking, and seeing the trend of what is arriving and what is departing and how our work in progress is changing at a various stages. Because it's more like an analytical tool. Your business may not need CFD, cumulative flow diagram, but your manager, your quality people, your team may need CFD so that they can analyze it. But your business needs it. I'm giving you this job when this gets done. And they need this information, which is basically coming from lead time distribution and lead time thing. There could be various other metrics like flow efficiency and all. Again, the further diagnosis of why we have a high lead time, how can we probably improve it. Then you may do a flow distribution or understand that at what stage, how much time it is taking. Even in a Jira with the help of plugins and all, we have like time in status kind of reports, which helps you in seeing that your work item was spending how much time in various status, which can give you a kind of idea of your flow efficiency, which helps you in doing your own analysis. So depending upon what kind of problem you are facing, what kind of dissatisfaction your client has, you need to find out the Kanban matrices which you want to follow. The KMP2 program spent good time in explaining and teaching Kanban matrices, but yeah, the Scaled Agile matrices also gives you a brief idea about various Kanban matrices. Yeah, but matrices are many, even in Scrum, Kanban. I find the uses of matrices is relatively higher in the Kanban team over Scrum teams because they have more shorter feedback cycle because they need a lot of the historical data is getting generated, which can help them in projecting the future trends as well. So usually it's more in Kanban, in my observation. Yeah. Okay. Great. So I just take a pause. Great. I think we had good conversation and explore various ideas. If someone has something specific, we talk. Else, we talk next time. Yeah, next time is somewhere in September. I see it's going to be 9th September. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Kumkum, you have something to say?
Yeah, the next Friday, it's 9th September. I mean, we are conducting these batches on the 2nd and the 4th of month. So the next second Friday in the September month is on 9th, and then we have on 23rd. So that's our pattern, and we'll follow the same pattern. So before closing, Saket, I just would like to ask you, so any last minute thought, anything which you would like to share from your side for our visitors?
So I think today's conversation was pretty much on the same side or direction, which we expect to happen in our space, where people are looking for some ideas around frameworks and career path, and someone are looking specifically on certification. So again, certification is a tool. That's how I see it. It's not necessarily the only tool. When you solve a problem, you apply multiple tools. So I think most of us were taking that particular conversation in the same way. We were exploring certification as a tool, and also focusing on how do we learn. And that's an important thing. How do we learn and grow? Because many time when we are in a trouble, when we are stuck in our career, then only we start thinking about learning, which is also good. At least you are fighting back when you are in a situation. Yeah. So that's definitely a reminder to do it. Probably after facing these kind of situation once or twice, some of you may also start focusing on doing continuous investment in your growth and learning, not just to have more money or a different career, but maybe to just achieve some excellence, and you are ready for the future challenges because you have seen once. Yeah. So whatever is your goal, I do see that the people coming showing good commitment for the learning, which is a very like encouraging thing. I would, in my experience, I see hardly less than 5% professionals might be in that mindset. People think that so many people are doing certification, but I believe hardly 5% of the working population invest their time and energy in learning something. Rest rely on what is organization is supporting them. So that's something there. Yeah. Now we have an interesting question. This industry enabled program are becoming little demanding and popular. So as of now, in a safe space, we have not yet started, but our idea was, if you have a specific need, probably we can connect with you some mentor who can guide you in that particular space. So that is a possibility. Let us know if you want some mentor to be connected for safe. We don't have a structured program, but if you have a specific query, and in our connection base there are a lot of people who are doing safe thing, probably they want to work with you on a one-on-one and help you in learning some part of scale agile framework. So that's a possibility. Great. So, yeah, anything else before we close?
No, I think we are good. And yes, it was very helpful. And thank you very much, guys, for asking us such a wonderful questions and making this session very interactive, very knowledgeable, very insightful for everyone. So keep asking questions, and let's keep in touch. And yeah, before closing the session, I just would like to share my LinkedIn here. Connect me. You can ask your questions any point of time, and we will definitely answer your questions. Whatever queries you have, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so I'll definitely answer your questions. And if I need any help from any other mentor, I'll take help and I'll answer your questions. But definitely, I will answer your questions. So take care of yourself, and we'll be back again on 9th of September, and we'll discuss a lot of interesting stuff again. So bye for now. Take care of yourself.